You know this scene. You walk into the living room, and there they are, eyes glued to the screen, fingers flying, completely lost in a game like Minecraft. Just absolute focus.
Total engagement.
Then you ask them to read for 20 minutes or maybe tackle some, simple math problems, and suddenly it's like trying to swim upstream through mud.
It is a scenario that plays out in homes everywhere, isn't it?
Mm.
This intense focus on the game screen versus the struggle to find that same level of engagement with, well, traditional learning.
Right.
It really begs the question, what is it about these games that makes them so incredibly captivating, so sticky?
Exactly. And how come that energy doesn't automatically transfer to, say, practicing handwriting? It's baffling sometimes.
Well, we came across this really insightful blog post that digs into this exact puzzle.
Oh,
Draws some powerful comparisons between how computer games are designed and how we often approach learning. It points out some core mechanics game developers use to hook players, often subconsciously.
okay, interesting. So what's our mission with this deep dive then?
Well, our mission is really to unpack those fundamental elements, those things that make games work so well, and see how we might actually borrow those brilliant design principles.
To make learning feel less like a chore.
And more like, dare I say, fun, or at least more engaging.
Okay, let's dive in. The post kicks off with that common parent complaint we just mentioned. All my child wants to do is play Minecraft. It's a real pain point.
It truly is, and it contrasts that reality with what learning often feels like, especially when you're trying to build foundational skills like reading.
Right.
The post paints this picture of the learning process as potentially monotonous, almost like chanting, day 1, read, day 2, read, day 3, read, all the way
Lindsay
to...
Lillen 63, read.
Yeah, I get that. It can feel like this endless, undifferentiated task.
Compared to even the simplest video game structure, think about a basic platformer or an early RPG.
Okay.
The post illustrates it perfectly. Level 1 is usually pretty easy, maybe a simple maze. Your goals are crystal clear, defeat these 3 monsters, collect the shiny ring. You do it, and bam! You get congratulations, maybe a little fanfare sound.
Yeah, and you move straight to level 2.
And level 2 isn't just do more maze.
No, it's a harder maze. Maybe now there are flying monsters, different goals, collect the magic staff this time.
Okay.
Conquer that, more congratulations, maybe a shortcut scene revealing a new area, and you're off to level 3 where you face, I don't know, fire-breathing dragons and a new challenge, like finding a hidden well.
So, looking at that simple game loop compared to the day 1, day 1163 learning approach, what's the fundamental difference that immediately jumps out?
Well, what's powerful there is how games inherently break down the overall objective into discrete, easily understandable steps. You know exactly what success looks like for that specific moment.
Right, and you get immediate feedback.
Undeniable feedback on whether you achieved it. That sense of clear progress at each step is often the missing ingredient in that long, continuous learning process.
Which brings us nicely to the first major element the post highlights. Clear, specific goals broken down level by level.
Exactly. In a game, the goal for the current task is unambiguous and verifiable. Did you vanquish all the required enemies? Did you gather the 100 coins? You know instantly.
There's no gray area.
None. The overarching objective, like finishing the entire game, is always approached by conquering these smaller, bite-sized goals. It's that classic wisdom of tackling a massive task, like eating the elephant, one manageable bite at a time.
And this stands in sharp contrast to how we often frame learning for kids. The ultimate goal, learn to read, it's really abstract for a young child.
Totally. Even if the parent knows the steps letters, then sounds, and simple words, then sentences, those aren't always presented to the child as distinct, celebrated milestones. It's just read.
So this is where we can apply the game principle. Instead of just learn to read, we define very clear, concrete goals for learning levels.
For instance, level 1 in reading isn't just know the alphabet. A game-like goal could be successfully identify and say the sound for every letter of the alphabet when shown. Specific.
And when they hit that goal, you make it a moment, like really acknowledge it.
Yes. Congratulations. Maybe a small reward tied to the achievement, and you signal that they've successfully cleared level 1 and ready for level 2. Make it clear.
Okay. And level 2 might be?
Maybe. Read any 10 three-letter words independently. Again, specific, verifiable, achieve it, clear. On to the next challenge.
The post had that great analogy with dance too, didn't it?
Oh yeah, that was good. Instead of pointing out all the things wrong, the head tilt, the not pointed toe, the pigeon-toed step, all at once.
Which is overwhelming.
Completely.
Yeah.
Instead, focus on fixing just one specific error during a practice session. That single correction is the clear, achievable goal for that, like, micro level.
Okay, so defining clear, specific goals is crucial. Element one, what's the second major element games employ so effectively?
The second is clear transitions and, crucially, celebration. Games don't just quietly move you from one level to the next,
No way. There's usually fanfare.
right? Screen changes, maybe a mini cutscene, celebratory music, bright text saying level complete or victory. It's all designed to make the player feel a genuine sense of pride and accomplishment.
And you really see the difference with a lot of traditional learning environments. Passing a test, mastering a new concept, these often just happen.
Yeah, without much explicit acknowledgement or celebration, sometimes the focus can even be more on failure, right? Analyzing where things went wrong, looking hard at the D grades.
Well, the A grades or the moments of successful completion might just get a quick nod, if that.
It's like a game that intensely dissects every time you die, but just silently moves you to the next level when you win. It feels off.
This is where the Post argues we miss a huge opportunity.
Absolutely. We need to build in those clear transitions and actively celebrate hitting these learning goals. Make them events.
Like reaching level 1 in reading, knowing all the letter sounds, you could absolutely make a big deal out of it.
Totally. Bake letter-shaped cookies, gather the family, have a mini level 1 complete party. Why not?
Or for level 2, when they can read those 10 words, have them proudly demonstrate their new skill to a family member.
Or maybe they write a short note using those words, or you record a quick video of them reading aloud to share with relatives. These are tangible ways to mark the progress.
But it's not just about giving a treat, though, is it? The Post emphasized something deeper.
It absolutely does. It's less about the physical reward, like the cookies, and more about creating that special moment, that feeling.
Oh, okay.
It's about the child feeling that surge of pride in their achievement and receiving genuine recognition from the people who matter to them. Think about earning different colored belts in karate.
Right, that's a great example. It's visual, public acknowledgement.
Exactly, or moving up dance classes after a performance test.
Yeah.
These are structured celebrations of reaching a new level of skill.
And there was that really practical tip mentioned about using recording. How does that fit in?
Yes, regularly capturing progress, like maybe once a month, record the child reading or writing or performing a sports skill. But then occasionally you look back at those old recordings together. It allows the child to visibly see or audibly hear how far they've come.
Wow, Mom, remember how I struggled with that sound? Or, look how much faster I can do this now.
Precisely. That self-awareness of improvement is incredibly powerful. It builds internal pride and becomes a built-in motivator for future practice. It makes the progress real to them.
Okay, clear goals, marked transitions with celebration. That makes a lot of sense. What's the third key piece of the puzzle from the world of game design?
The third element is anticipation of complexity. Game developers don't just show you the next level, they often tease it.
Oh yeah, you see glimpses.
Right. Glimpses of harder monsters, cooler environments, new abilities you'll unlock later. Players aren't just motivated by beating the current level, they're driven by the excitement and anticipation of the harder, cooler challenges that lie ahead.
It's an emotional pull, isn't it? A desire for what's next.
Exactly. You push through the current difficulty because you're looking forward to mastering that, I don't know, blue, glowing, scaled monster later on.
And this contrasts pretty sharply with a lot of the logical motivation we tend to use for learning.
Oh, definitely. Things like learn to read so you can read books yourself someday.
Yeah.
Or study hard now so you can get a good job and earn money in the future.
Which sound reasonable.
They sound perfectly logical. But the Post points out that while logical arguments sound good, they often fail to drive action on their own. We logically know we should exercise or eat healthy.
But that doesn't automatically translate into doing it consistently.
Yeah, exactly. Emotions and anticipation are far more powerful motivators for sustained effort, for pushing through the tough parts.
So how do you create that anticipation in learning? That seems trickier.
Well, for reading, the Post suggests having that truly enticing book. The child will eventually be able to read maybe the target for reaching level 3 or 4 visible on a shelf.
Ah, okay. Like a trophy they haven't won yet.
Kind of. Make it beautiful, intriguing, something they aspire to. Seeing that goal physically present builds anticipation. They might look at it and think, wow, I want to read that. And that desire fuels their motivation to get through the earlier levels.
They might even sneak a peek.
They might. It's about creating an environment and an attitude around learning that builds that desire for the next challenge, visually showing what future stages unlock.
Makes sense.
And the dance example works here too. Watching videos of advanced dancers performs builds huge anticipation. I want to move like that someday.
Okay, yeah.
The structure of learning sequential dance styles, mastering the polka before moving to the waltz, then the cha-cha-cha, naturally creates anticipation for the next, more complex and often cooler-looking dance.
And moving to that new dance class is like leveling up.
Exactly. It's a tangible celebration, often earned by proving your readiness in a performance or tournament. It marks progress and fuels excitement for the next stage.
You know, it becomes really clear listening to this that game developers put immense effort and, frankly, science into making games sticky, using these very principles.
Oh, absolutely. They invest heavily in this. And the compelling argument here is that learning doesn't have to be this uphill battle. It could be just as sticky and engaging.
If we intentionally apply these tested, powerful principles from game design,
Precise.
the post even used the Michael Phelps example, right?
Yeah, it did. His incredible success wasn't just about having strong arms or, thinking logically about winning gold medal someday.
There was more to it.
Clearly, he had excitement for each training session, that anticipation for progress. He experienced clear level transitions, hitting faster times, qualifying for and winning competitions. That's immense pride and celebration built right in.
And he had very specific, clear goals for each practice and race.
Exactly. All three elements were there. It's a powerful reframing, really.
So if a child can get totally hooked on the challenge, progress, and anticipation of a video game,
There's no fundamental reason why they can't apply that same drive to sports, math, reading, or any other skill. It's about changing the design of the learning experience itself.
borrowing from a field that has spent decades perfecting engagement.
Yep. And it sounds like the comment section on that blog post really backed this up. People resonated with it.
Apparently so. Readers highlighted the power of specific, measurable goals, the huge importance of fostering pride and achievement.
And the potential of using these modern kind of game-inspired approaches to unlock motivation. It
Wow.
clicked for people.
Okay, so bringing it all together then. By intentionally incorporating the elements that make games so incredibly engaging, what were they again?
Setting clear, specific goals.
Right, marking and celebrating progress with distinct transitions.
And building anticipation for the harder, cooler challenges ahead.
By doing that, we can fundamentally transform how kids experience learning, make it less of a drag.
Yeah. And the core takeaway isn't about, bribing kids with candy after they finish homework. That's not really it.
No, it's deeper.
It's about fostering that deep internal sense of pride in mastering a skill and providing clear external recognition for hitting significant milestones.
Just like earning a new belt or reaching a new level or winning a tournament, that feeling of accomplishment.
Exactly. That's the fuel.
That's such a fascinating deep dive, taking principles from an unexpected place like video game design and applying them to something as crucial as learning.
It really is food for thought.
So for you, the listener, maybe consider this. Where else in life, whether it's for kids navigating school or maybe even for ourselves tackling a new skill or a big project, could applying principles from seemingly unrelated fields help make challenging tasks more engaging, more motivating, and ultimately more rewarding? Something to think about.